Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Another week went by. Here we are at KNZZ, KGLN, and a lot of other places. A lot of AM and FM locations. So we can start off with 1100 and 980 and 92.7, 98.1, a few others. Thanks for listening. And if you're listening to the podcast, thanks for that. If you're listening on the internet, thanks for that. If you're one of the ships at sea, keep sailing. And, everybody else, we really enjoy the fact that you joined us here today. Well, what a week. Anything to talk about? Not really. Not much going on. Kind of, maybe we talk about sports or something for a little while. I mean, come on. Really, I hate the fact that there's so much to talk about. It's a sad situation out there in America. We are sort of at a nadir, at least I hope we are. I hope we don't sink a whole lot further into things. We can't trust our institutions. We can't trust elected officials. We can't trust even the results of our own criminal justice system or regular justice system, or we're getting to where we're not so hot on the whole voting thing. And when we try and talk about things, tech overlords that may or may not actually exist, at this point, Mark Zuckerberg, for all we know, could be a computer simulation. The computer could have decided that they don't need him anymore, and away he's gone, and it's just all simulation. May live in a chip someplace. Those people, make sure that we think and do things the right way. So I'm hoping that's the bottom. I know there's a lot more bottoms a lot further down if we let ourselves get down there, but I think hopefully we're bouncing along there. And if we do the right thing this November, we can start a comeback. I would point out that there seems to be a number of actually conservative people that are like, well, the Republicans, it may not be a red wave, it may be a purple wave, and they're losing people here and there. And while I don't necessarily believe that, I do understand the thinking. And part of that is due to, well, as I've said before, how many seats that the Republicans gain in the House of Representatives. And no doubt that's going to happen. Or if there is a doubt, it's very slim, is sort of dependent on the fact that we're so close now. Look at this last vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. I know, it's pretty funny. Do I have something here? Hold on. Yeah, that's a signal to get a little truth. There is no inflation reduction in that. Not an iota. The Inflation Reduction Act is, in fact, a joke. And the joke's on us. It is a bunch of giveaways to people who are donors and supporters of the Democrat Party. It's a sop thrown to the far left, the nut job greenies. Well, they're not really nut jobs. They're just religious fanatics that instead of having a religion, they just substituted climate change for the same way people treat a new religion, except that it makes less sense. And, that's all it is. It's a mess, with a little bit of enforcement thrown in with the 87,000 IRS agents, which you guys have heard ad infinitum. And I'll repeat what is, of course, true, and that is that the investment of 87,000 IRS agents in looking into the taxes of everyone that makes only over $400,000 or more a year, in other words, that's their net income, would not come close to justifying those agents. No way would that even come close to paying what it's going to cost to have them, much less bring any more money in or make everybody pay their fair share. It's a complete canard. It doesn't make any kind of economic, even financial sense. It doesn't pay for itself at all. It couldn't. It has to be where the money's at. And I know you don't feel like you have any money, but that's where it's at. Because there's a lot more of you out there. And that's who they're coming for. Instead of getting $10,000 off of somebody that makes $400,000 a year, and they do that maybe, let's say, 10 times, they can get 20 or 30 times, get $1,500 off people like you. And that makes better sense. And it's also easier because you can't afford tax attorneys. You probably don't have your taxes done by a CPA who specializes in taxes. It's going to charge you $1,100 to do your taxes. You either do it yourself or you have some help from a computer program or one of the services out there that, don't necessarily understand your deductions as well. Or maybe you don't understand your deductions as well. Because you're easier to come after because of that. And that's where the money is. You're easier to intimidate. I just send you a letter and start threatening to, withhold your income tax refund check, which I don't know why people think that's so exciting. I always get kind of my hair standing on end when I hear people, I'm getting a bunch of money back from the government. Yeah, it's your money. It was money that you overpaid and they used for almost a year, and then they gave it back to you. Yay. They're wonderful. No interest, no nothing. Just kept it and sent it back. They didn't want to, but they had to. And though that's where it's at. That's where the money will come from. That's who they're after. I don't know why they think that people don't see right through that, and I know you do. Here in Colorado, where I'm at, and where many of you are at, they're listening here live on the radio. Some of you are in Utah who are slightly better off, although you got some weirdos over there. I got to say, your governor is a strange dude. And you have Mitt Romney. What's happening over there anyway? But here in Colorado, we have TABOR, which is a guiding light really for every state, Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. And if the government here collects more money than it is allowed to under the formula in TABOR, and it's a formula about how much taxes can be raised and collected based on population and consumer price index, if they collect more than that, they have to give it back. Well, the Democrats in our state have fought TABOR as though it were the bubonic plague from its inception in the 90s. They are obsessed with it. At night, they wake up screaming its name. They run outside with a pitchfork and stab it into a scarecrow with the word TABOR written across it. They cannot stand TABOR. They try and change it. They've tried to sue it out of existence. They've appointed enough judges of the Supreme Court to where almost everything they do gets around TABOR in some way, even though everybody else knows that what used to be a fee is in fact a tax. But they've done all of that, and they still can't get rid of it, and so they had to give money back. So this year, they've decided, wait, even though we hate TABOR, wish it were gone, and don't want to give any money back to anybody, maybe we can turn this into what everybody thinks is a good idea. That's right, vote buying. Maybe we can make it look like we're sending money to people because, by golly, that's how kind of guys we are over here at the Capitol. We saw you folks were struggling out there, and we put our little pointed heads to the grindstone, and by gosh, we came up with this idea to give you some money. That's the way this letter is written that comes with a check with your TABOR refund in it in Colorado. It makes it sound as though Jared Polis, the round-headed kid who accidentally became governor here, came up with this idea on his own. Well, as we all know, Jared Polis hasn't come up with an idea on his own in many years. And to make it sound like he did it. Yeah, oh yeah, I did this for you guys, help you out. It's just infuriating that they're trying to take credit for a refund they're sending taxpayers out of a program they loathe. So you have to live with that. Reading the letter, which, by the way, does not have the term TABOR, which everybody knows what it is, Taxpayers' Bill of Rights in Colorado. And if you don't have one in your state, you should get one. It doesn't appear anywhere. He even mentions that he signed a bill, which the bill is just authorizing to be paid this way. It didn't mean they had a different scheme. In other words, they couldn't have kept it. It's not like he said, hey, we could keep this, but we're not. We're going to send it out. But it says, oh, he signed a bill. And the implication is somehow the bill is what paid the money. Now, the way it's paid out is part of the bill, but the money was still owed. And when you read that, it's just infuriating. So that's what you guys are up against out there, is this constant twisting and turning and of the facts. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a taffy pull machine. I saw one once years ago when I was in Estes Park, Colorado, where they have a lot of things like that for some reason. And it takes taffy, that long, stretchy stuff, and it puts these two arms in it, and it stretches it out, and it turns it, and stretches it, and turns it, and stretches it, and twists it, and turns it, and stretches it. Yeah, that's what goes on in the state government and the federal government when it comes to telling you about what they're doing. We'll be back.